Hey, Andy here from builderhottub.com. In this video, we're going to take a look at what makes for a good DIY cocktail or plunge pool design. Let's go ahead and take a look. Okay, so I've finished a number of plunge pool and cocktail pool designs recently, so I thought I'd make a short video on what makes for a good design and some of the things that you need to think about. So firstly, what is a plunge or a cocktail pool? Well, in its most basic form, it's a very small swimming pool. The maximum size is generally about 15 feet long, and in terms of depth, you're looking about 3.5 to 4 feet in depth. These are ideal to be built in your own backyards, and of course you can build them as a DIYer. Before we get into the actual designs themselves, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Any questions, hit me in the comments, and of course, give me a like, a thumbs up, and I really appreciate the view. So, what makes for a good plunge pool or cocktail pool design? Well, firstly, I would say simplicity. Keeping things nice and simple is always the recipe for success in terms of a DIY project. So keeping things nice and square rather than trying to build cylindrical pools or tubs. Keep it nice and square, always really easy to do that with blocks. Above or below ground, doesn't really matter with a plunge pool, but of course, check your permits. Different states, different towns have different requirements for permits, so please do check with your local authority before you actually go ahead and begin your build. Some are required, certainly, for example, in Massachusetts, you've got to have a fence around them. Others, you have to have a permit if you're in ground, you don't if you're above ground. So please just check with your local planning before you actually go ahead and start your build. Some things to think about in terms of the design. Are you going to have any steps in there? Are you going to have any seating? I mean, it's not traditional, I guess, for a swimming pool to have seating, but there's no real rules when you're building these as DIY as to what you can and can't have. So if you want a seat in your plunge pool or cocktail pool, then go ahead and design one in. Heating, how are you going to heat it? So these tend to be a little bit too large for electric alone. It is possible to heat them up with quite a large electric heater. However, it will take a long time, and certainly as energy prices have increased, it's quite a costly way of heating a pool at the moment. So you may want to think about either air source or propane or natural gas as an alternative means to actually heating your pool. In terms of filtration, at that kind of size, so that kind of the 15 feet kind of size, you can still get away with a cartridge filter. Unless you're in a really dusty area, then you can have to go down the sand filter route. The reason that I mention this is cartridge filters are much cheaper than sand filters to buy initially, so it just helps keep the cost down. When I design a cocktail pool, I like to keep the plant room or control room below the waterline. And the reason that I do this is that I can then get away with using hot tub pumps, and it just keeps the cost down because hot tub pumps are cheaper than swimming pool pumps. So if you go above ground, you're going to need a self-priming pump. These are expensive. However, if you're below ground, you can use a small hot tub circulation pump, and that will do the job just fine for you. And it just helps keep down the cost of your DIY cocktail or plunge pool. What about skimmers, drains, and returns? So in general, you're going to want 2 lower drains. You're going to want a skimmer so that it can take all of that junk that's going to come into your pool, the leaves and everything off the top. It will deal with that. You're going to want that on its own pipe system ideally. If not, you can connect them to those 2 lower drains. Put the lower drains into the floor when you're going to pour the base. Your lower drains, you're going to want 2-inch pipes. So you want the suction side of the pump to be on larger pipe work than the returns. So the returns, you want at least 2. You don't want them on the same wall as your skimmer because you want to create some flow and some movement around the pool. And you are going to want that return lines to be 1.5 inch. So that there's more suction than there is return. Okay, it's just the standard that we do when we're designing pools. What about lighting? If you want to add a light, I've got a perfect light for the DIY build. buildahottub.com/light. It's super thin, really easy to fit, beautiful aluminum finish and multicolours, different modes. It's a fantastic light and it doesn't cost the earth. So check that out, buildahottub.com/light, and I'll of course put a link to that in the description as well. If you're really not sure where to start, then I would suggest maybe taking a look at some of my pre-made designs. Again, I'll put a link to those underneath the video. In my shop, I've got lots of different pre-made designs. They come with the plumbing diagrams, they come with the layouts, they come with all the tips and tricks of how to put these together, how to waterproof your blocks and your concrete. Everything that you need is in those packages, and they're very reasonably priced as well. So check those out. I'll put a link underneath the video. And of course, if I can help you with a custom design, you want something that's slightly different, get in touch, hit me up in the comments or through the website, and I'll be more than happy to help you with that. So finally, thank you for watching. I hope you found this short video useful, and I will see you on the next video. If you've liked this video, please do like, share, and subscribe to the channel. I'll see you on the next video.